All right, welcome everyone to another AHA tutorial where this go round we're going to focus on building beautiful ideas portals and how to review every single idea that they can capture. That might sound like a tall order for a half-hour session, but I promise you we're going to do it. And actually with some of the functionality I'm showing you today, it'll be actually a little bit fun. So let's get going. You probably interact with feedback right now in a couple of different ways, most commonly with direct product feedback from your customers, what they like, what they don't like, what they wish they had. You might also have an internal company product innovation mandate at your company. You might also have an internal product innovation mandate at your company to generate new ideas and to change culture a little bit, or you might be working with sort of a cross-functional internal request setup so that your team can help out other teams and get great ideas along the way. Bottom line, ideas are the start of innovation. They're the start of everything. And the next big idea out there, once you find it, is the one that's going to revolutionize how you think about your industry or change your strategy for your product or service, or maybe just lead to a go-to-market launch that delights your customers. So we need a continuous cycle of feedback so that we can grow and improve, because I think we're all humble enough to admit the next great idea might not come from our own heads, so that cycle has to be coming externally. But a lot of times that's the overwhelming part. In a past life, I worked in startups, led a few support teams, and we had a spreadsheet that we'd cobbled together from customer feedback, continuous cycle of largely unhappy customer feedback, people who were missing functionality or finding functionality that was broken. And every time product team released something, we would scroll through that spreadsheet, which we compiled from sticky notes and emails and phone messages and everything, to see if we'd release something that would help one of our customers. That's no way to live and really was not very workable. So in addition to that continuous cycle of feedback, we also need a way to centralize feedback, right? To gather it all in one place so that we're not overwhelmed with a barrage of constant feedback. These are ideas portal settings, AHA Roadmaps Ideas Portal settings that you're looking at right here. And today we're going to build and examine a couple ideas portals. We'll talk a little bit more about the right type of portals in a minute, but this is the first solution. In addition to that continuous cycle of feedback, we also need a way to centralize it. An ideas portal does that for you. It can also be an extension of your brand. So today we're going to talk about how to brand your ideas portal so it looks like a familiar and welcoming place for everybody who wants to leave you feedback. Finally, of course, in addition to centralizing feedback, you also need a process in place, a structure to help you review every idea that you receive efficiently, so you can encourage more feedback. It's always great to start that virtuous cycle there. Today I'm going to be showing you everything in AHA Roadmaps, specifically in an AHA Roadmaps product management workspace. AHA Roadmaps includes essential idea management functionality, so everything you'll see here today. Also, at AHA released a brand new product called AHA Ideas to focus specifically on idea management. It includes some advanced functionality. A couple times today I'll point out some of that advanced functionality, just in case you're interested in a standalone product right there. Reason I'm showing you AHA Roadmaps today is because it lets you promote ideas directly to work items on your strategic roadmap, to features, epics, and initiatives. I think that's really cool because it allows you to follow feedback from the first idea all the way to its go-to-market conclusion. So we're going to stay in AHA Roadmaps today. Okay, let's go through the steps we're going to take today. Same 3 steps. When you've left this tutorial and you've forgotten everything I've said, remember these steps. This is going to help you set up your own idea management process. And they are these: customize, capture, and communicate. Customize, capture, and communicate. So first step is we're going to build and customize an ideas portal. Again, to match your brand, create a welcoming experience. And then we're going to use that portal to capture feedback. We're going to use that portal to capture feedback and to find the balance there between making it easy for someone to submit feedback and at the same time capturing critical information. So this is a part of the process worth focusing on. So that's customize, capture, and then finally communicate. We're going to review some ideas together, one in particular, and I'll show you how to prioritize an idea and then communicate with the folks who voted on or subscribed to the idea. That's always a good time. This is a community of people that you really want to engage with because they're leaving you feedback. They're invested in your product or service's success. Okay, customize, capture, communicate. That's what we're going to go through today. Customize, capture, communicate. Let's get started. I'll click over here to Fredwin Cycling. This is, if you're not familiar with Fredwin Cycling, it's a demo workspace that you can enable in your own account. If you want a sandbox environment or you want to test things out, you can turn on Fredwin Cycling. I've done that here in a product management workspace. I've also populated it with a few ideas and some comments and things, so we get the look of what a real workspace with an active ideas portal would look like. And what you're looking at right here is on the ideas page. So I clicked up to ideas, went over to overview. This is the ideas overview page. It's an internal view. So this is not what your portal users see. This is what you see as an AHA Roadmaps account user. You can see I see a breakdown of all the ideas on my portal by status, on several portals actually, a timeline of when ideas are getting submitted, some recent comments, the portals that are in my workspace. You can have as many portals as you want in your workspace, as many portal users as well, by the way. Just invite everybody you like. Those are all free. Folks who watched this workspace, and then new ideas to be reviewed, popular ideas to help me build out my roadmap, and ideas that I have actually promoted from an idea to, in this case, a feature, but also if I scroll down, epics or initiatives as well. So here's ideas overview. And most of today, I'm going to work with an ideas portal that I've already built and customized, but I want to show you what it looks like to add an ideas portal. Right here, you click add ideas portal, and it pops up this 3-step portal builder, which looks like this. First, you come up with the title. By default, it's just your workspace's name and the portal title. And then you get to select a color. This can be one of our basic colors, or you can pick your own custom color. And then let's do blue. And then finally pick whether you want it to be public or private. So when we're on that customize step, this is, I guess, technically a customization. Not only are we creating an ideas portal, but we need to pick what sort of portal you want. And that is determined by who you want to receive feedback from. Public portals are open to anybody. Anybody with the URL can access a public portal. Private portals are open to anybody who you invite. Let me show you some examples here from out in the wild. These are real AHA Roadmaps customers. This is the Webflow Wishlist. It's a public portal, so anybody who's got this URL, wishlist.webflow.com, can access it and see recent ideas, add their own, vote, comment, whatever they like. It's a great way to capture information from a lot of different people. And while we're talking about customizations, you can see they've updated the color to be a little darker. They're calling this a wish list. They've customized the terminology, which is nice. And then they've got custom statuses and custom categories here. Ideas categories are ways to sort feedback into buckets to help you review it better, and also to help people submit and find feedback better from their end. This is a public portal, accessible to everybody. This is a private one. So this is HCSS, a software company for construction industry. And if I click over to their community page here, I'm met with a login screen. So HCSS has a private portal. I'm not an HCSS employee, so I can't access it. But this is the first main customization of a private portal is that login screen. It looks like anybody who's an HCSS employee can log on with single sign-on or through their employee ID. And once they're in, because they're privy to some private information, they can have private conversations on their private portal. They can still receive feedback, but it's not from the general public. It's just from people who are qualified. These don't have to be employees at your company, by the way, and an internal user, as they're called, is anybody you want them to be. This could be power users, special clients, beta testers, employees on your team or on other teams, kind of however you want to define that internal community there. So public versus private. That's what that looks like. Let's click into some here, and I'm going to show you what a portal looks like, and we'll look at a few different settings for each of these steps. Remember our 3 steps: customize, capture, and communicate. First, we're on customize. So let's look into this portal. You saw new design, old design there. I'll bring that up in a minute. This is what a standard AHA Ideas portal looks like with a little bit of customizations. I have the Fredwin Cycling branded color here. I've got a nice background image for my activity tracking app. Custom categories, custom statuses, that sort of thing. Let's click over into settings. Because I'm an administrator in my AHA Roadmaps account, I can access these settings. And I'm going to start you over on the overview page. In customization, we're going to look at overview, branding, and terminology tab right now. So first, some simple customizations you can make. The title and the subtitle. Title is the name of the portal. Subtitle is a welcome message. I put one in here already. You could change this to match your brand voice. Next is a URL. Right now, this is a randomly generated URL, but you could change this to say, as Webflow did, Wishlist, or whatever you want to call ideas. You can even, and this is advanced terminology, change this URL to be a custom domain. So in other words, drop off the aha.io section and add in yourcompanyname.com or whatever your company URL is. So it looks like a white label extension of your brand. I'm going to take you over to the type settings. Right now we're looking at full ideas portal because those are the most commonly used, but you can create a submission only portal, which is kind of like a suggestion box. People can put ideas in it, but they can't interact with them. They can't vote or see them or comment on them. That's a special tool for a special time. A lot of folks like full ideas portals so that they can engage with their community. Remember, that's communicate, our third step. Private versus public, we've already talked about. And then we get down to visibility settings. So if you're an AHA novice, if this is your first experience with AHA roadmaps, welcome. It's great you're here. Everything's going to look new and you're going to have a great time. If you're an AHA veteran and you've been around for a while, I'm going to also in this tutorial call out things that are new as of the time we're recording this. And this is one of them, the visibility settings. We've always had visibility settings, but we just recently updated them quite a bit. And here's why. When someone submits an idea to your portal, depending on the type of person that is, they might have access to information you don't want publicly known. So you can have different visibility settings for the different sorts of people who leave you feedback. For example, a portal user, someone, say it's your customer, they usually only know what's publicly accessible. So by default, their ideas are visible to everybody. An internal user, those are those folks in the private portal. They might not be in your AHA Roadmaps account. They might be people at your company or people working closely with your company. They probably have access to a little bit of your roadmap and they know some of the things that aren't publicly released yet. So anything they submit is visible to other internal users is what they're called. And then an AHA user. So this is someone who's on your team, member of your AHA Roadmaps account. They're a paid seat on it. They know everything. So they have your full roadmap. They know what's planned, what your struggles are, everything. The ideas they submit should probably only be visible to them to start with. So by default, they're just visible to the creator. Now, these are the default visibility settings. And they control what's visible in the portal itself. When you're back on the ideas overview screen, you can still see everything. You're here to review all the feedback you get, but these settings control what's visible out on the portal out here. Okay, that's the overview tab. Let's click over to the branding tab here and see some of the stuff I can do to adjust the brand. You can see the logos, the fav icon, this little browser tab thing up here, and the custom color. Those are pretty simple. You probably already have a folder of those in your own workspace. I can also customize the design. And this right here is, well, if you are an AHA veteran, this is the one button for you to click. I'll show you what I mean. We recently updated the standard design of an ideas portal in AHA Roadmaps. We kept what we're calling the classic design, the old design, active, so we don't mess with anybody who had an ideas portal in the classic design, but you can click here to switch to the new experience. Let me show you, well, I guess you've already seen what the new design looks like. I'll show you what the old design looks like. That's why I keep this portal around. Looks like this. It's not bad. Just boxier buttons. It's a lot narrower. We've got a lot of white space here. Same portal, same ideas, same votes. You can see all the same information right here. It just looks a little different. This, I think, is a little more aesthetically pleasing, a little more welcoming. So if you're going to just do one thing today and you're an AHA veteran, I would click to disable the classic design and give your ideas portal a bit of a refresh. I've also got custom code down here. So if you've got a developer who you work really well with, or maybe you're technically inclined yourself, you can add custom CSS, HTML, or JavaScript here. You can see there's our background image with the little map there. And you can really adjust this portal outside of its standard template to look like whoever you want it to look. That's pretty fun. We have articles on the knowledge base about how to do that with some examples that you can try out. So definitely check those out if you're inclined that way. Last part of the customization step is terminology. So right here on the terminology tab, I have a list of almost every word on a standard ideas portal, and you can change almost every word to be what you want it to be. For example, you might not call these ideas. You might call them requests or feedback or gifts or presents, whatever you want to call it. You can change it here so that in addition to the portal looking like something familiar, it also reads like something familiar. Okay, that's customization. After we've applied all those things, we get a great looking portal that really matches our brand. You can see how these all look very different. Before I move on to the second step, let's talk about best practices. And the first one is, you'll hear me say this a lot today, start simple. You can always create more portals later. You can always add more customizations. You can make this as sophisticated as you want it to be. But start very simple, make sure you like what you're working with, and then add things incrementally would be my first recommendation. Second, a lot of small changes can have an outsized impact. This one design checkbox, by the way, has a really outsized impact into the look and feel and experience of the Ideas portal. So look out for those. And then third, if you're new to AHA roadmaps, then you might be starting with a blank page here, and you don't have to do that. You can import Ideas portal users. We were the people who are going to give you feedback, and you can also import ideas themselves. We've got a great CSV import with a nice step-by-step guide to walk you through it. We actually have videos and articles on the knowledge base as well if you want some help there. But it's great to seed your Ideas portals with feedback, even if that's a spreadsheet you have hanging around your team. Give people who come to your Ideas portal something to have an opinion on and vote on and comment on and be inspired by. So I would definitely recommend not starting blank and just seed this with some great ideas so you can get people off to a great start. Okay, that's customized. We've got an Ideas portal. It's well customized. It's ready for people to come use it. Now let's look at capture. Remember, customize, capture, and communicate. And on the capture step, we're going to be thinking about this Ideas portal not just as a beautiful extension of our brand, but as a vehicle to capture feedback and to capture the right sort of feedback that's actually useful to us. There are two aspects to capture from your user's experience. First is when they come to the portal and browse existing ideas, like I'm doing right here. And then second is the actual process of submitting an idea when they click this button to add a new idea. And in this step, we're going to look at that. Let me jump over to settings. Again, I'll jump back and forth a little bit. First, back on the overview space is an advanced idea management functionality that I want to show you, and it's the language settings. If your user base speaks languages other than English, or in addition to English, you can enable support for a bunch of languages right here, like I've done. The Ideas portal will change its language based on your user's default browser settings, and over on the terminology tab, you can actually set different customized terminology for each language group that you enable. It's advanced functionality, and if everyone in your Ideas portal speaks English, you might not need it, but for those of you who do have a broad user base to receive feedback from or want to reach a broader user base, language settings are worth pointing out as something advanced there. Secondly, let's jump over to the Layout tab and talk about two things. First is forms. I'm going to open this in another tab here to show you what I mean. This is the idea form. The organization of fields and whether they're required or not, it's everything a user needs to fill out before they submit an idea. And there's a balance here that's really difficult to get right. It's very rewarding. There's a bit of an art to it. You want to make it really simple and easy for someone to submit feedback. You don't want to put barriers in their way, but you also need to capture critical information that helps you review and prioritize and act on a lot of this feedback. And the Ideas form is the encapsulation of that balance. You can see I have just a couple fields here, the basic, title your idea and add a description to it, but I've added some custom fields as well, including a business function. I just want to know who's talking about this, and a category for the ideas, which again are those buckets you want to sort things into. Ideas forms are an account level setting. You create them at the account level, but each workspace can set their own Ideas form based on the ones that have already been created. So these are worth tweaking with and experimenting with and improving upon. Again, start really simple and try to build from there as you notice you're missing critical information. Ideas forms also, if I'm pointing out more advanced functionality, support what are called dynamic forms. So this is a static form. Everyone sees the same form. They fill out the same information. They click submit, or in this case, add idea. A dynamic form allows you to ask different sorts of questions to particular sorts of users. So for example, say I'd said that I have an idea for the mobile app. I could then have the form populate a question saying, hey, what device do you use? Is it iOS or Android, or do you have a Garmin, or what sort of hardware are you running? That'll really help me review the idea. Not everybody who submits an idea needs to answer that information, especially if they've got an idea that has to do with reporting or something like that. But it's really useful to ask just that extra couple of questions for a particular subset of users. That's what a dynamic form is. Again, advanced functionality, but we've got knowledge base articles on it, and you can even demo that in your account if you want to try it out, and it makes it a little simpler for you to strike that balance between simple to submit and capturing critical information. Okay, so that is the forms. This will jump you over to the AHA settings and jump you back, actually. Categories, you've seen them a couple times now. You've seen the, let me go back, the ways to organize your ideas into buckets, and you use these on the portal and back in the overview page as well as you're reviewing ideas. I'll show you this in a little bit. And so this is a way to provide structure to your feedback. In Fredwin Cycling here, we've organized these by parts of the application so that someone could submit feedback for a particular part of our product. You could also organize these by the teams who might be reviewing these, the reporting team, the social team, something like that. But these are worth configuring as well to make sure that you can structure the right ideas together and then kind of review them as a group. Can be really helpful to say what's their most valuable reporting idea, that sort of thing. I can click in here, and your users can click in here too and vote or comment on that subset of ideas. Right now it's just 10 out of a total of whatever that is, 40 or 50 ideas, but on some ideas portals, on the AHA ideas portal, we've got 4,000. So it's really useful to have these categories, these subsections here. Okay, for capture, best practices. That ideas form needs to be the balance between simple to submit and critical capturing of information. Find that balance. Start really simple with a very simple form. I would probably err on the side of that and then add more complexity as you go along. Maybe even consider dynamic forms. And then secondly, category best practices. You could organize these, as I said, based on parts of your product or service or the teams who are going to be reviewing them, or maybe different steps on the user's journey. We have a user story mapping section of AHA roadmaps, and if you've taken your users through that, it can be useful to talk about ideas in that way as well. A bunch of different ways you can do this. No wrong answers. Just again, try to find something that matches your team and helps you with the third step, which is reviewing and communicating. So far, we've got a great customized ideas portal. We've optimized it to capture critical information, and now we're ready to communicate with our users. So as with everything else in idea management, this can be a very sophisticated process, the ability to review ideas. I'm going to start with a very light one for reviewing ideas and communicating with your users, because I think it's more important to focus on quick reviews, making sure every idea is reviewed quickly. We do this internally at AHA as well. Everything that gets submitted to our ideas portal, an actual human product manager looks at it, assesses it for value, and responds to the customer if necessary. That's the sort of thing we're going to put together today. We'll review, let's see this one. So again, I'm on the ideas overview page. This little section of new ideas is really useful to say, here's everything that hasn't been reviewed yet. I can also click to view a pre-built report of all these if there's a lot coming in. So let's take a look at this one right here. Very simple idea. It's got a title and a description, but not much of one. It's got one comment, it looks like, 9 votes, and everything else is blank. So if I was a product manager and I was reviewing a bunch of these as part of my Monday morning, this is how I would do it. First, those categories. If the person submitting the idea didn't add them to a category, or I think they're in the wrong category and adjust things here, I'll add it to Partner Portal. That sounds about right. Second is a scorecard. So right now I have feelings about this idea, sponsor competitions, but feelings are hard to compare to other feelings on other ideas. I need an objective quantity of this idea's value. Right now I have the very basic default scorecard, which is actually very effective, which is just time impact versus effort. And you can see the idea score is 39. Now, once I update that score in a report, I could look at all the partner portal ideas and see, is 39 something really high that we should work on? Or is it really low that we should prioritize lower? That sort of thing. This gives me some movement really quickly right there in this very light process. This could get more sophisticated. I could add tags, custom fields. I've got a bunch of custom fields in here, but I'm just going to show you those two at a very high level. I've already kind of reviewed this idea. Let's move through these tabs. In this case, I've got votes and including proxy votes, which shows me a little bit about the companies who have, or the organizations, I should say, who are interested in ideas. So I can see how popular this is and with who. And I've also got comments. So this is the communication step. After I've reviewed this a little bit, or maybe when I get stuck reviewing it because I need more information, I can have private comments. So those are comments between my team saying, hey, is this possible? Or does this impact this other thing we're working on? Or how cool would this be to implement? That sort of thing. Or I could switch over to public comments. You see, I've already commented publicly and join the discussion, not only with the person who submitted the idea, in this case, Claire, but anybody who voted on it or is curious about it. We can have a conversation about, tell me more about this. What sort of things would this look like? How interested are you? That sort of thing. Find out more about their needs. And generate a little bit of empathy on our side and value for the people who are taking the time to engage us with feedback. Those are comments. There's also a special type of comment here on the portal tab, which is why I skipped it. And that is the admin message. So an admin message is the official message on an idea, and it skips all the comment threads. It goes right at the top. Sometimes this can be a quick yes or a no, or to set expectations to say, hey, we're not doing this. It doesn't align with our strategy, and here's why, and here's what we recommend instead. Other times we use this a lot at AHA with most go-to-markets to say, hey, we did it. We shipped this thing that you guys all cared about, and here's the blog post, and here's a knowledge base article, and go try it out for yourselves. This can be a neat little victory message. So once the comments are wrapped up a little bit, you can provide more information there. Again, this is something that's really an empathetic and valuing response to the community of people who've taken the time to share their feedback. You want to get back to them really quickly to either clarify their needs or give them a yes or no, or set expectations so that people feel heard, and so that you're one step closer to finding that big idea out there. Okay, I'm going to show you one last bit of settings here. We're looking at settings in every single time. Remember, we're on the communication step. Let's jump over to emails. Every time that you or the user interacts with an idea, when a new comment's left, when they first submit it, when the status changes, or when that official admin response happens, they get an email. And you can adjust these to match the way you talk about things in your brand. They even have dynamic fields here as well, and you can format. So you can see some H3 there. Send yourself a text email, but this is the last thing I'll show you for how to customize your portal. It's how your portal talks to your users automatically. All that is something that you can adjust as well. Back in the Ideas Overview screen, one more thing I want to show you, which is something unique to AHA Roadmaps, is this button right here. If this idea becomes something we want to work on, something I want to add to my roadmap, I can do that by promoting it to a feature, an epic, or an initiative. Once I click that, I can create a new feature or add it to an existing one. And you can see now I've got a link between this idea and the feature it's created on. So the one sort of communication that's hardest to maintain and that you don't have to do anymore is keep track of who is interested in what and how far the work has progressed through its workflow. As this feature moves from something that's not started to in progress to shipped, every time it changes that status category, everybody, all these 9 people who voted on the idea, get an email saying, hey, the status has changed. This has moved farther along. At any point in there, you can also update your admin message, start some comments, things like that. But you no longer have to have a sticky note stuck to your computer monitor about who's interested in the go-to-market launch and who should know that things are on track to launch or not. The promotion is really fun there. And they never lose that link in reports and everything. You can always see what's linked to what. Okay, best practices for communication. First, review every single idea. I know it sounds like a tall ask, but we definitely practice what we preach here at AHA, and we've reviewed everything that comes off our desk. Our product managers are scored on that and actually pretty proud of it. Second, be super responsive, so you encourage other people to keep sharing. That's that virtuous cycle we're trying to get started with our communication here. Third, start with a really simple scorecard. In fact, impact versus effort is a great way to start. You can always make it more sophisticated. Fourth, prioritize ideas within their categories. You can create a report now with every idea that's in Partner Portal or any of the other categories and see what's top of the stack there. And then finally, use those comments to get more details. This is a really laconic idea. I'd expect more information from Claire. And through comments, I can engage with this really interested community of 9 and get more details here. Okay, that's it. Customize, capture, and communicate. We've gone through all 3 steps in a little over half an hour here. I hope you enjoyed it. If you have any questions, please reach out to us. We love talking about ideas management. Good luck out there. Thanks.